match restarted. Talk about rules are rules.
Well, you know what? Rules are rules. And you know what? Cowboy Bob Orton had to have been the shortest reigning champion ever in wrestling. What was it? 12, 15 seconds?
Not much more, to say the least. And I'm sure we'll know more about that this hour. And what a week it's going to be. Steve Dunn in action, the Blacktop Bully, America's hero, Sergeant Slaughter. And what a main event, a six-man tag. Chief Charlie Norris, Billy Two Eagles, and Conan 2000. That should be wild to get Super Destroyer and the Hangman.
Well, whenever the Hangman's around, you know there's going to be trouble.
Exactly. Let's go to ringside. Mick Karsh and Lord Alfred Hayes.
Well, thank you very much. There's a true beauty and the beast, Missy Hyatt and Ken Resnick.
Hey, don't call Missy Hyatt a beast again.
For heaven's sakes, ladies and gentlemen, Missy Hyatt, certainly one of the great investigative reporters in professional wrestling, a true journalist. And I guarantee you, if something is happening in the American Wrestling Federation, Missy Hyatt is going to dig up the scoop.
Yeah, she'll get her pretty little nose into anything, absolutely anything at all. However, this fellow here, this young fellow, Steve Dunn, what a future is going to unfold for him.
Sensational Steve Dunn, and he comes by that nickname quite honestly. This kid, absolutely tremendous, one of the flashiest young talents in the sport of professional wrestling, and I promise you, this matchup is going to be excellent. His opponent, Bob Bradley, has shown us so much in the previous weeks. This is a pick-em in my estimation.
It is. I'll come to that a little bit later. But in the meantime, look at the roses being given to Steve Dunn by these gorgeous young girls. They've already lost their hearts.
Well, this is a very talented wrestler and certainly a heartthrob. And ladies and gentlemen, stay with us in just a couple of moments. We're coming back with the opening matchup. All right, welcome back, wrestling fans. The American Wrestling Federation and the Warriors of Wrestling. Mick Karsh and Lord Alfred Hayes, delighted to be here once again, and a terrific matchup. These two, in my estimation, equally talented, as is the case quite often here in the American Wrestling Federation. Great parity, great competitiveness. We're not an infomercial for a pay-per-view. This is professional wrestling the way it should be.
Absolutely 100% right. Now watch these two young men. Steve Dunn particularly, because I think that if he gets a break here in this wrestling match and actually gets a win, I think he's going to go on to much, much bigger things.
Well, Steve Dunn with an outstanding reputation. This is a great scientific wrestler, a diligent trainer, but I have to focus on Bob Bradley also for just a moment. In my estimation, very, very underrated. Bob Bradley is capable of beating anybody at any time, and this is going to be classic professional wrestling.
Absolutely. Bob Bradley has a very good record. Steve Dunn has a better record. That was so nicely executed. The one thing about Steve Dunn is he's got to get rid of that Simon Pure attitude and develop a little more of the killer instinct.
Well, I'm not so sure about that to this point in his career. Steve Dunn certainly very, very aggressive and very successful, and he definitely has the crowd behind him here. You know, he's compact. He's built almost like a little tank. 235, 240 pounds, but very, very graceful, Lord Alfred Hayes.
Indeed, and he has such expertise. He is so talented in the ring, he can switch from hold to hold, which is always the hallmark of a great wrestler.
And the referee calls for the break. Now, it appeared to me that Steve Dunn backed up. Bob Bradley complaining that his tunic was yanked there. I didn't see that at all.
Well, I did. He was definitely yanked out of position. However, Bob Bradley won't worry about that.
And there's an on-air marriage proposal there from that young lady. She'd like to tie the knot with Steve Dunn. Oh, what a shot by Bradley in the corner there, catching Dunn almost unaware. And we take you from the top, ladies and gentlemen, of the arena. A tremendous flying head scissors.
Superb, actually,
And a drop kick.
so beautifully executed. He's really on fire now. He wants to get to Bob Bradley as quickly as possible for a secure victory.
Well, Bob Bradley very bewildered on the outside of the ring. That is one thing about Steve Dunn. He is absolutely explosive. At the drop of a hat, he'll nail you right to the jaw with that drop kick, that flying head scissors. This is a multi-talented young man.
Indeed he is. However, here, Bradley has got to slow the action down a little bit. That fast pace doesn't suit his style.
Well, he nailed Steve Dunn with that uppercut into the corner. Oh, look at Bradley. He's a happy... Oh, what? I was about to say he's a happy camper. He had that head scissors secured, but Steve Dunn once again safer part of town once again.
Two great maneuvers there by Steve Dunn. Firstly, that head scissors. He countered that with a beautiful fall, and then he hammered Bradley with that drop kick.
Well, Bob Bradley at this point has to be trying to get his brain in order here, a little bit scrambled as the onslaught, the assault of Steve Dahl continues here. And I have to give it to Steve Dahl. For a man who's been in this profession just a couple of years, he is ring-wise. He knows where he's at all times, and at this point, you have to believe that the table is starting to fall just a little bit here under Bob Bradley.
Well, Bradley is doing the right thing as far as he is concerned. He's slowing down the action. He's recuperating, staying away from Steve Dahl. You've got to keep him at arm's length.
We're down to under a half minute here, and now the more aggressive Bob Bradley is starting to surface in that ring. He's a man who's capable of scientific wrestling, but we've seen this from him. When he gets frustrated, he turns on the afterburners, in for the cover count of 1 and 2. Oh! Not only did he kick out, but he pressed Bob Bradley halfway across the ring.
Tremendous power shown there by Steve Dahl, and of course Bradley back on the attack again.
Absolutely in with that reverse chin lock, almost a modified sleeper hold there as the round comes to a conclusion. Well, no clear winner in my estimation, although the waning seconds certainly belong to Bob Bradley. And ladies and gentlemen, here in the American Wrestling Federation, it's unfortunate, but there's a combination making all sorts of waves on a weekly, on an hourly basis. Let's hear from the Rat Pack.
Next week, my men, they're going to destroy the Lucky Team. The Maniac and the Roughneck.
That's right, the Roughneck and the Maniac. Anybody steps in the ring, you're going down for the last time.
Well, General Adnan, certainly with a combination there to be reckoned with. As if Mr. Hughes wasn't bad enough, he's got his own man, Maniac Manny Fernandez, chewing on his coat.
Well, Manny Fernandez is a very, very dangerous character indeed.
Oh, there's a dangerous boot right to the sternum of Steve Dahl, and now Bob Bradley unloading. This has been a seesaw battle from the opening bell. Count of 2, and that would have been an upset of major proportions.
Well, I think that Bradley's taken the wrong track here. Once again, he stepped up the pace, and he shouldn't do that. He was doing so well before by slowing down the pace. However, he seems to be in control.
Well, I want to get back just a second to General Adnan and the Rat Pack. Certainly, Mr. Hughes and Maniac Manny Fernandez, forces to be reckoned with here in the American Wrestling Federation. I guarantee you the likes of Tito Santana, Sergeant Slaughter, they better keep an eye on the Rat Pack.
Well, they'll be watching for them, I'm sure of that. But Manny Fernandez, what an addition to any tag team.
Well, he's a nutcase, to say the very least, and back in the ring, Bob Bradley now maintaining control on Steve Dahl with that reverse chin lock once again. Bradley, as you said, is very, very cognizant of the time frame, the round system here in the American Wrestling Federation, and he slowed down the pace again.
He has indeed, and it's more to his suiting. He is now gripping that head of Steve Dahl and forging ahead also on points.
Well, Steve Dahl back to that vertical base, but just that quickly, Bob Bradley throws him to the canvas and now continues the assault in the corner, all the way across the ring. Irish whip, and he's back. The small of his back went hard into that buckle, and Bob Bradley now, I would not waste a lot of time against Steve Dahl.
Now Bradley now trying to recuperate in the corner.
Oh!
And he did indeed. He suckered him right into that move.
And a big clothesline. Bob Bradley, the pacing was not accurate that time. He underestimated Steve Dahl, and now Steve on the offense. He picks Bradley up, snap suplex, and a beauty.
Exactly was, and Dahl in control now. Really, this match has gone back and forth, a seesaw indeed.
It certainly has. Whipped off ropes, and again, that thunderous forearm, that clothesline across the chest. Steve Dahl, in my estimation, wait a second, Bradley out of nowhere with that flying head scissors and almost a pinfall.
A good 1-2 effort there by Bradley. He knows what he's doing at all times. Steve Dahl, wow, this is a dangerous maneuver here.
It absolutely is, and Bradley is shoved off the top rope by Steve Dahl. Powers his way out of that predicament. This is Dahl on the top rope now. He comes across with that flying crossbody. Count of 1 and 2, and it's all over.
Also beautifully executed there by Steve
great, great wrestling.
And let's look at him as he emerged into the arena. He looked already a victor. What a leap that was. Very high, very accurate.
Absolutely. And a tremendously impressive victory, ladies and gentlemen, for Sensational Steve Dunn. Stay with us. This is the American Wrestling Federation.